Hi, I'm Stuart from the Norfolk Honey Company and welcome back to our very sunny apiary on this wintry November morning. We've come out today to take a look at one of our Maisemore apiaries sponsored hives, where we're going to wrap the hive with some chicken wire to protect it from the green woodpecker that we know inhabits the fishing lakes that we've got some of our beehives on, and they can do a lot of damage to our beehives. But before we do that, I just wanted to say a big thank you to Maisemore Apiaries for sponsoring these videos. If you've seen some of the previous ones, you'll know that we've been running a series of videos throughout the summer where we're comparing the Maisemore Apiaries polystyrene commercial hives with some of our old-fashioned wooden hives, and it's going to be really interesting to see how they perform through the autumn and into the winter, because over the summer we've found them to be really effective. The good news for me is that they're really lightweight beehives. So as again some of you will know, I've been struggling with a bit of a bad back recently, and these hives do make it a lot easier on my back because they're a lightweight material. So today we're going to wrap one of our poly hives with some chicken wire to prevent the green woodpecker from pecking a hole into the side and having access into the brood nest itself. But the biggest issue really is the amount of damage that they can do. Once they start pecking a hole into the side of the beehive, it's pretty well trashed, and then you've got a major repair job on your hands. Before we take a look at the hive, if you haven't yet subscribed, please do hit that subscribe button down in the bottom corner, and don't forget to have a look at our Facebook group, where we've a growing community of beekeepers helping each other out with answering lots of questions that particularly beginner beekeepers have when they're just getting started in beekeeping. One other thing that I'd like to mention is that I'm working on a beginner's beekeeping course, which will be an online course, and if you'd like to take a look at that, if you go across to my website, you'll find a way of signing in for the pre-launch course, which is just a couple of pages with a little questionnaire, and we'll be launching that course in its entirety in the new year. We've also got our Twitter feed and Instagram feeds, and I'll leave links to all of these down in the description below. So for now, let's take a look at the polystyrene hive and wrap it up with the chicken wire. So this is our Maisemore Apiaries polystyrene commercial hive. There is a colony inside, but it's so cold this morning that they're not active. They'll be in a tight cluster in the middle of the frames, and once the sun comes round and warms them up a little bit, I'm sure that they'll then be out flying. But before they get out, what I'd like to do is to just wrap them with the chicken wire. One thing to mention is that when we first set up the polystyrene hives, and one of the problems that we encountered with them is that the local population of rabbits really liked to come over and see what they were all about, and they've actually chewed around the edges, and so it might be that if you've got rabbits in your local area and you want to use these poly hives, I would perhaps suggest wrapping them with chicken wire all year round. It doesn't have to be tightly secured to it, but it would then prevent the rabbits from accessing it and doing the damage that you see here. Now, in the spring we're going to get this all cleaned up and repaint them, but they should be okay to go through the winter this year, and then in the spring we'll do some maintenance work on them. So you could also put a mouse guard across the front, and we'll perhaps have a look at the mouse guards in another video, but for now all I'm going to do is to just wrap the hive with some chicken wire. So what we've got is just some simple chicken wire. This is about a 2-inch hole. It'll stop the woodpeckers from getting onto the hive itself and actually getting through the holes and into the hive, and it really is a simple task of wrapping it round. One thing I have noticed about the Maisemore poly hives is that they are a larger footprint. They're about 500mm square, whereas the commercial hives that I've got are around 460, 465. So all we do is just raise this up to the top corners, just gently pull that around. And so the problem that I've got is that my normal lengths of chicken wire are not long enough for this particular hive, so I've got a gap at the back, but all I'm going to do is to just get some more chicken wire and just wrap the back as well. And then all I'm doing is just folding in the little tag ends of the chicken wire to hold it in place should we get any strong winds. Maybe some local wildlife, deer do come over this way, but that will hold it in place. I've never had a woodpecker land on the top of the beehive and actually try to access through the top of the hive, so I don't cover the top of the hive, I just wrap it around the sides, and that really is all we have to do, and I'm satisfied that that will keep them secure from the green woodpecker for this winter. So a straightforward, simple job that takes a matter of moments to do, but will protect your hive from the green woodpecker over winter. We will of course have to take the chicken wire off in order to use our oxalic acid treatment over the winter, and if we need to do any other mechanical movements with it, we're going to have to just remove that chicken wire, but it's going to stay there now for the most part until the spring. We don't normally have any problems with woodpeckers until perhaps late January, when we get some really hard frosts and the ground's solid and they're struggling to find food sources from the natural environment. So we've done this quite early, but at least this video will now give you an opportunity to see what you need to do and to take action should you need to. You don't have to use chicken wire if you don't have any green woodpeckers in your back garden or in your apiary, so it's not essential to do, but for those of you that have got problems with woodpeckers, it's always worth protecting your hives. Finally, my thanks again to Jonathan and the team at Maisemore Apiaries for sponsoring these videos. We couldn't have done it without their help and support, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the hives progress through the winter and into next spring. And don't forget to take a look at our Patreon page, which is where you can help support us in producing lots more of these videos. And as with everything today, I'll leave links in the description below so that you can click on those links and go through to the websites to check out all the relevant information. So we're going to crack on and take a look at a few of the other hives that we need to wrap up, but for now, thanks for watching.